Yeah, I don't know. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Exactly.
So, well, I'll give him a couple minutes to hop in somewhere.
Freddie's here, but I don't know who that is.
I don't know. What are you gonna do?
Yep. There's a couple.
The funny thing for me is, I with everybody, checking out all these new things, and is this a scam? Is this a scam? And um, I put together that new service to actually scan things to see if they're a scam, and depending on the level, it runs from either $29 or $99 or $299. Um, you know how many people from the group have checked that out? None. And there's nobody's checked it out, and yet they're still talking about stuff that is it's most likely a scam.
Right. Yeah, I think, I don't know. I don't know if it's the younger generation or what, but I was born in 71, so I don't know.
I'm right there with you. I was born in '70.
Everybody else seems to be younger and
Well,
don't want to hear us old people talk.
well, here's something that I've noticed. I have a reputation of talking about making money. I mean, when you come on my um, when you come on my live, it talks about making money and stuff. And so every now and then, people pop in, and hey, we're talking about making money, and so as soon as I start talking about making money, hey, thanks for stopping in. I'll start talking about different ways to make money, which invariably involves, me usually starting a business or something, which involves work. And as soon as it comes to the part of work, they're gone. They come in all hot and heavy. They want to make money, but as soon as there's work involved, like you got to go do something, you got to go sell something. I mean, it's your business, right? They're gone. They want easy money, and that, I'm telling you, right there is why people get scammed so easy, because these scammers know that people are looking for an easy buck, and that's what they prey on. So, well, it's a quarter after, and we don't have all day, so I'm just gonna start rolling, and we'll see. Just before we get rolling, I do want to let you guys know I'm not here trying to sell anything. Um, I mean, of course, I have plenty of things to sell. I mean, I've published author, I've got books for sale, courses for sale, and all that, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to help. So, if you guys decide that you want to buy something, that's on you, to come after me, because I'm not chasing you for something to sell. What I'm teaching you today is what I've learned about making real money. I've worked hard all my life. I've always been a hustler. But one thing that really um, there's a really bad chain of events from one bad choice brought a bad chain of events that I couldn't stop. And when the housing market crashed, I lost everything. I went from having no debt except my mortgage to losing my home, selling my car, selling nearly everything I owned, and dropping down to about 10,000 in net worth. Bankrupt, foreclosed. But I knew the importance of reading. And that's when I came across Jim Rohn's quote, "You are the average of your 5 closest friends." And that shook me to my core because I looked around and, that one bad decision that I made that led me to where I was at was from somebody that I had taken a lot of advice from, somebody who was very close to me. And they were not in a position that I wanted to be in. I didn't want to be like them. And, most of the people that I spent time with were not in a situation that I wanted to be like. So even though I had made a lot of money, it had never really changed my life. So I took a hard, long look at who I knew that I wanted to learn from, who I wanted to be more like. And there were 3 people that I reached out to and said, told them, I said, "Listen, I want to learn from you. I want to spend time with you. And I want to get to know you better." One of them, he's just become a really good friend. I've learned a fair amount from him. One of them, I wouldn't say that she's a millionaire, but she's so well connected. She's the person that the cities, the economic development councils, they call her when they want to learn how to get their city to start making money. That's how well she knows economics. She's the one that introduced me to a digital marketing company that I was able to buy for $2 million with no money down. And that was how I went from being worth $10,000 to over $2 million in less than 2 years. The other guy, he bought his first business at 19 with almost no money down, and made his first million by 21. Retired to Sarasota, Florida in his early 20s. And we've done so much stuff together. He's just so much fun. He's the reason that I have contacts with Elon Musk. He's the reason that I was able to reach out to Elon Musk after the hurricane in Jamaica and get Starlink turned on for free for Jamaica. There's so many ways that, he really brought me into a whole nother group, because I've met so many other millionaires and some billionaires by working with him. And it completely changed the way that I think about business. And along the way, of course, I've gotten to know many other millionaires and a couple other billionaires. There's only like 30 some thousand billionaires in the world. There's not very many. But that way of thinking, of changing who I wanted to spend time with, completely changed my world. I went from working a lot and making a lot, but it not really changing my life, to changing how I allowed people to influence my life, and learning to let the people around me help, to be there to help influence my life. Because you think about it, you guys have really been hit hard. But imagine if your friends were millionaires and billionaires, and you went to them with DIR and said, "Hey, what do you think of this?" Before you started dumping your money into it. Honestly, what do you think your millionaire friends would say? Just a thought. So, and I'm gonna, I'll let you in on a little secret. This is one of the secrets that I'm revealing to you in my book, 5 Secrets Millionaires Don't Want You to Know. This is one of them. You are the average of your 5 closest friends. Millionaires hold their friends close. So I'm not saying that you need to dump all your friends. What I'm saying is you really need to take a close look at who you're spending time with, because your friends are going to make or break you. Really, they will make or break you. I could do a whole session on this, but I need to keep rolling. That was the biggest thing that changed my life. That right there. If after that, I make money and I keep it because I know how to keep it. When I hit hard times, I can call Gene. Hey, how do I deal with this? I don't know. Let me call you back. And when faced with, I told you guys about the situation with the stolen credit cards, that where I was dealing with a $30,000 deal through merchant services. I called Gene. Sal calls me back. Sal's the billionaire in the group. And Sal says, "Hey, he confirms who the merchant services was." He goes, "Yeah, when they were still a bank before their merchant services, I was on the board of directors." Largest merchant services in the world. He was on the board of directors. And he says, this is who they answer to. It's like a controlling, nobody hears of them, but it's like the IRS to merchant service. Okay. He's like, call this number. It's the direct line to the director at that organization. You're going to get her desk. I called. She answered. 15 minutes later, merchant services, the director at merchant services calls me back. Believe me, things change. When they say it's not what you know, it's who you know, they're not lying. It is. So, yeah, that changed my life. So now we need to roll this to you, okay? Today, you know that you're tired. You know that you're frustrated. And let's be real, you probably wouldn't be here today if your bank account didn't look the way that it looked. But some of the greatest people in history started right where you are, broke, stuck, overlooked, and doubting themselves. But before you talk about money, we have to talk about the one thing that controls everything. The biggest asset you have, your greatest tool, and also your greatest weakness. Anybody think they know what it is? The one thing everybody has that's your greatest tool and also your greatest weakness. Anyone? No guesses? Yeah, self-image. Somebody was in my last class. If you don't believe you can build wealth without a shortcut or a quick scheme, then why are you here? Because nobody else is going to make that money for you. You have to do it for yourself. You have to look at the times you reached beyond the easy option, the times you pushed harder, went further, did more, and believe you can be more tomorrow than you were yesterday. Let me say that again. You have to believe you can be more tomorrow than you were yesterday. You guys have been kicked in the head with this DAR thing. But listen, you were just a victim. They targeted you. Don't let that get you down. Just shake it off. Move forward. You can be more tomorrow. Okay? You got to move forward. That's first. That's foundational. Because if you can't do this, nothing else is going to work. Remember one of my quotes: success is reserved for those that are willing to do what others are not. Most people, they just want to sit and wait for something to happen for them. You can't do that. You can't. You can't. You have to do it. You have to do it. For me, if I would have sit there and done my own thing, you know, it wouldn't happen. I had to go. I had to decide who I wanted to be around. I had to go to them. Was it uncomfortable? Yeah. I had to go to them and say, I want to get to know you better. I want to learn from you. I had to buy a few lunches, you know, but, you know, and you never ask them for money. That's something you don't do. You don't ask them for loans. You just get to know them, you know, and once you get to know them, they're buying the drinks, they're buying the lunches, and, you know, they're giving you opportunities. So, anyway, there will be hard times ahead. So, before I show you how millionaires become millionaires, let me ask you, are you ready for this? Everybody ready? So, the biggest myth about creating wealth is that you have to find your passion or develop some rare skill. I hope you don't believe that, because it's absolute nonsense. Every millionaire I've ever known or interviewed said almost the exact same thing. They took the next opportunity in front of them. One friend of mine that I interviewed, just working a family job, and it kind of ran its course, needed something else to do. I said, so what did you do? Goes, my next door neighbor was hiring. Literally, that was it. Kind of shrugged his shoulders, said, my next door neighbor was hiring. And he turned from there, he started working for his next door neighbor and worked that in, you know, now this guy's a general contractor, commercial general contractor over the entire United States. And he's building like FedEx, UPS, Amazon, the high dollar, really difficult things to do. A buddy of mine, I think he's a year younger than me. His first job, he got a job at a hospital in landscaping. He calls me up and he says, well, I finally got a job. It's not much. I said, well, you're going to be doing irrigation, right? He goes, yeah. Well, that's something you can probably use to get your job in plumbing. That's a good job. He goes, well, yeah, I guess you're right there. So he did a good job as a landscaper, turned that in and got him a job as a plumber. Had his own truck within like a year, and just rolling one thing into another. The underground stuff where they redo the pipes. Bought out a company. They got bought out by an international. Now he gets paid $1 million just to speak. Yeah, just to speak. And he's a year younger than me. Started as a landscape. It was his first, only job he could get. It just goes on and on and on. My first job, or not first job, first business, washing windows. Not because I loved it. I hated it. My brother and I had both worked for somebody else doing it, and we thought, why don't we do it? And we know how to do it. So we opened a line of credit for a few tools, went to strip mall, just went store to store, washed our windows. And we were making more money than two teenagers knew what to do with. Not because it was sexy, not because we loved it, because it was the opportunity. And, I did it for, I don't know, a year or two, and said, I can't take any more of this. I'll take the truck as payment for my part of the business, and I'm out of here. Same with Richard Branson. He didn't start Virgin Airlines because he dreamed of owning an airline. You guys know his story? I mean, Richard Branson had money. This wasn't because he didn't have money, but he was on his way to the Bahamas to see his girlfriend. The flight got canceled. No commercial flights available. He looked around. He saw some private planes. Get it out, that he could charter. Divided the costs by the seat, made a sign, sold the tickets, went and paid for the plane. Boom, problem solved. Now he had a free flight to the Bahamas. When they said, what's the name of the plane? He said, Virgin Airlines, I guess. It's our first flight. When he got home, he thought, well, that was pretty easy. I should do it again. So he found a 747 that he could lease. And months before he had to lay out any money, he had all the tickets sold, all the fuel sold, all the employees paid for. Everything was paid for before they ever got off the ground. Cost him nothing. So, I mean, you don't have to have money to start a business. This happens over and over again. And I mean, my next book's going to have all this stuff in it. Milo Jones, in his 30s, got disabled with rheumatoid arthritis, stuck in a wheelchair, became a millionaire. Colonel Sanders, broke in his 60s, living off Social Security. That's when he started Kentucky Fried Chicken with no money. So these people didn't follow passion. They followed the next opportunity. So now we need to talk about what you already have that you can sell. Because until you make a sale, you don't have a business. You have an idea. Which is very, very important. You guys need to understand. So many people, they come up with an idea. They make a logo, maybe a website. You have some business cards. Look at me. I got a business. Is that a business? No. You don't have a business until you make money. You have to make sales. That's one of the things that's wrong with, you look at the AI bubble that's about to blow up. There's all these companies. It was what happened with the dot-com bust. Okay. You got all these companies with these crazy valuations that aren't making a dime. They're not making any sales. It's all based on projections. So your company's not worth anything based on projections. You don't have any value until you make a sale. So let's figure out what you can sell. Now, some of you already have an idea of what you can sell. Some of you don't. Either way, I'm not here to lie to you. You need to understand about half of all businesses fail in the first 5 years. The main reason is simple. They fail to connect with their customer. Now, you can dance around that, but it's kind of a marketing thing, but I'm going to teach you how to avoid about 50% of that failure rate. And to do that, we're going to use some AI. Well, let me be clear. AI is a tool. It's not a brain. It makes mistakes. It lies. It hallucinates. It's only as smart as a prompt that you give it. And I'm going to be honest. I hate it. It can cause. You can use it. It can do some good. It can cause some real problems for you too. So just be sure that you're very clear with the prompts that you give it, and make sure that you double check what it gives you. Never assume when you're using AI. I like to say that it's like a toddler driving a Ferrari. Lots of power and no discipline. I had a situation just the other day where I was dealing with some email settings, and it was telling me to delete something because there's duplicates, and what it was telling me to delete didn't make any sense. So I did a screen capture, and I marked a 1 and a 2 and pasted that screen capture in there and into ChatGPT, and so you get a clear picture of which one it wanted me to delete. Deleted the one, and then it still didn't work. I figured it out. I figured out how to fix it, and then it came back saying that the reason the one wouldn't work is because there was a typo. Because the first part of it says it's supposed to say domain key, and it was saying that it said domain key, and I'm like, you're an idiot, because I don't type any of that. I copy and paste. That's just stupid. Because with that kind of stuff, you never type it. They're text strings. Who would type it? You copy and paste, right? So I'm like, I double check this stuff, and I go back through the chat looking for the screen capture that I'd pasted in there to verify. And ChatGPT had deleted the screen capture that I put in there. And over the course of the next hour, as we're working on other stuff, it kept referring to this misspelling. So it's telling me that I misspelled something repeatedly and deleted the proof that would have shown that I didn't. So yeah, just remember, it's you got to pay attention. So get ready to take some notes, because I'm going to give you the prompt that you're going to use to help you figure out what business to start. So you're going to say, I want to start a successful, profitable business in the whatever area you're in. That will last for the next 20 years. That's important, because most businesses fail in 5. So you want to tell it you want 20 years. but I'm not sure what to do, period. Here are the skills that I have. And then you just list whatever skills you know of that you have. These are the hours I can work. Because everybody has limitations on when they can work, want to work, whatever. I have this much startup capital. Now, this is important because if you have $100, say $100. If you have $500, say $500. If you have $20, say $20. Say, just be specific. Please search my area for businesses most likely to succeed and interview me to assess my skill set, my schedule, and my limitations so you can help me determine the best options. Okay, I'm going to read through it again just once more just to make sure you guys got it. I want to start a successful, profitable business in the blank area that will last for the next 20 years, but I'm not sure what to do. Here are the skills that I have. These are the hours I can work. I have this much startup capital. Please search my area for businesses most likely to succeed and interview me to assess my skill set, my schedule, and my limitations so you can help me determine my best options. Thanks for the likes. So that one prompt is going to put you way ahead of most entrepreneurs because most entrepreneurs are like, hey, you're a good cook. You should start a restaurant. And like 80% of restaurants fail. Doesn't have anything to do with being a good cook. Because startup capital for a successful restaurant is like $5 million. But they don't do the research to know that. So then after you get that list, you're going to validate it. You're not launching anything yet. You're going to do this after you get through, because you might look at it and you're going to say, hell no, I'm not doing that. You sort through some different things, whatever. Give me a side-by-side comparison of these ideas, including startup cost, profit margin, local demand, competition levels, required licenses, time frame to profitability, and whether my startup capital is enough. Because even though you told ChatGPT how much starting capital you have, doesn't mean it paid attention. Because it's ignorant, it ignores half of what you say. So I'll read it again. Give me a side-by-side comparison of these ideas, including startup cost, profit margin, local demand, competition levels, required licenses, time frame to profitability, and whether my startup capital is enough. Now you have data, not just dreams. Then you're going to go deeper. Because now that you might have eliminated some from that, but then you're going to say validate each idea for my city and tell me which ones match my skills, schedule, startup capital, and local demand. Again, just because you told ChatGPT in the first place doesn't mean that it's going to apply all of that. So validate each idea for my city and tell me which ones match my skills, schedule, startup capital, and local demand. Now you know exactly what fits you. This eliminates half the mistakes beginners normally make. Okay. Are we all on the same page so far? Okay. Now you're still not launching a business. You're testing whether anyone gives a damn. You know, and this would be great if you guys. Yeah, I'm not trying to pitch anything, but I go through a lot of this in my book, Broke to Business Boss, because I go through the details of different ideas of how to, test scenarios and how to make sure that you're actually letting your business pay for itself each step of the way. Okay. Because eventually, you're going to need to set up the probably going to have a website, business cards, all this kind of stuff. But who's to say you need all that stuff day one? Because day one, what do you need? A sale. And you first need to find out whether or not it's something that will sell, and are you pitching it the right way? So you're going to turn your idea into a one-sentence offer, and you're going to post it where your customers already are. So you're going to go, Facebook groups, Marketplace, Nextdoor, TikTok, Instagram, Craigslist, and you're for signals, not sales. Pre-sell without pre-sell without discounts. And listen, as long as you know me, you'll learn I don't do discounts. Discounts are just a great way of attracting the wrong kind of clients. Discounts attract the kind of clients that will put you out of business. I mean, there are ways to do specials, okay, but don't discount yourself. Just don't. You'll put yourself out of business faster than anything. It's the wrong way to start. If anything, start high. You say, I have openings this week. Would you like to get on my schedule? No discounts ever. A lot of people think you got to start low to start a business. Absolutely wrong. You're starting as a premium service. That's what you're starting. And you have to think that way. You're offering ground floor opportunities to these people. The opportunity to get in on the ground floor. So stop groveling. Okay. Don't be a beggar. Thank you, Leslie. I'm not here to make you poor. I'm here to teach you how to grow wealth. And you don't grow wealth crawling around on your knees. You grow wealth by, you have to envision first in your mind that you deserve it. Remember, we talked about self-image? And if you're providing a service that normally sells for $500, when you first start out, then if you're going to try to sell that service for $250 or $300, when somebody comes to you and they know that that's normally $500 service, and they see that you're offering it for $250 or $300, the first thing that goes through their mind is, this must be really shitty stuff. So automatically, the only people that are going to come are the people that don't care about quality, they don't care about service, and those people never tip, they're late, they're horrible people. It is not the kind of customer that you want. If normal price is $500, you want to start out at $500 or $550. You would be better off to price it at $550 or $575 and say, hey, since we've just started out, I'm running a special for this community only at $525. That's how you do specials. Now they feel special. They know that that's in the ballpark. And if you're running them a special and you're just a notch above normal, wow, this must be great service. And, this must be better than what we're used to. And we can get it for just above what we're used to paying. Heck yeah, sign me up. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to be on time. They're going to give a nice tip. And when you do a good job, they're going to refer other people. And here's the thing. You might be nervous because you're first starting out, but guess what? They're coming in there expecting that they're going to get a great job. So even if you mess up, in their mind, you did a great job, because that's all they can see is that you're going to do a good job. That's the psychology of selling. That's how it works. But if you try to sell a $500 job for $50, you'll have nothing but headaches. You'll wish you never started. I've seen it so many times. So, yeah. Anyway, last thing I'm going to go over, pain-based selling. People don't buy because something is nice. They buy because something hurts. They don't sell a service. You sell the removal of pain. When someone asks your price, you say, that depends on the problem you need solved. What's the biggest issue you're dealing with right now? Catch the difference? That is pain selling, and that is how you make money fast. My best examples are, if you have a leak in your roof and a roofer comes in, could be a small leak. Roofer comes in, looks up, and you say, well, how much do you think it's going to be? Well, how long you planning on staying in the house? All of a sudden, you don't care what the price is, because he just told you that if he doesn't fix it right, your house is ruined. So you open up, here's my checkbook, any price, fix my house. You've been putting off going to the doctor. You finally get in there. He runs some tests. He says, you know what? I see something on this chart here. I don't really like what I see. I'd like to run some more tests. What are you doing tomorrow? It doesn't matter if you were leaving on a cruise tomorrow. You're coming back to the doctor tomorrow. That is pain-based selling. So, any questions on that? which if you need more help, I mean, I do teach pain-based selling. Not trying to sell anything. I just letting you know I have resources. So once you make one sale, now you have a business. I can walk you through all the legal stuff. That part is easy. That's the stuff I enjoy. Because I'm a firm believer in letting the business pay for itself. Once you make a sale, then we start, putting the stuff together. Hey, Miss Spontaneous, thanks for stopping by. One step at a time. The first step is see yourself as successful. If you don't believe it, nothing else works. Number 2, believe that you can build a business because not someone, you're the only one that's going to build a business. And not just that, only you can make money. It's not some scam, not some app, not some trading thing. You can make money. So quit waiting for the next latest, greatest thing. Everybody has a way to make money within them. Number 3, do your research. Use tools like AI, validate your ideas, test the demand. Number 4, make a sale. Because until money changes hands, you don't have a business. You have an idea. So I got. Let's open it up for questions. What do you guys got? Crickets. Well, if you liked it, you could like the live. There are some gifts. I don't know. I don't see any questions coming through, so maybe I put you all to sleep. Seriously? Not a single question? You're welcome, Leslie. I've been trying to help because, you guys really got hit hard. I'm going to start doing live podcasts like this every Tuesday and Thursday on TikTok and YouTube. On live, 2:00. Tuesdays will be about, making money, just different angles, different aspects of making money. And Thursdays will be on the different downfalls or frustrations, things that we, that we have to deal with. So the 2 different sides to business and making money. So, yeah, absolutely hit the stock market because that's definitely one of the things. And I'll do. Well, I do. I'm a day trader, so I'll talk about day trading. That will be. There's things I'll cover on a Tuesday and Thursday both. And probably on a Thursday, I will talk about crypto because I'm not a fan of crypto for a variety of reasons, but that's something. So for sure, anything that you guys have requests on, shoot them in, and we'll make sure to cover those. But I'll try to keep them at an hour, every Tuesday and Thursday, 2:00 Eastern Standard Time. And so spread the word. TikTok, YouTube, both. Trying to get more subscribers on my YouTube channel so I can start monetizing that. So, well, thanks for stopping by, guys. I guess I'll probably see some of you Thursday. I don't know why nobody could get on. You know what I might do is I might let me look at who all signed up for Thursday. And Thursday I might just do the same thing, TikTok and YouTube. And forget the Eventbrite. I don't know. I'll look and see who's subscribed. So, you like this better? Okay. So, yeah, I'm waiting on my other webcam. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, WhatsApp doesn't actually let you pin, but I can comment in there. And when I'm doing something, but I've got another webcam coming so that I can do TikTok live from my computer as well as YouTube from my computer, so that the TikTok live will come across a little bit better. Because right now TikTok's from my phone, so and that way I can do. I'll actually be able to do both of them from one platform. So that's my goal. So, all right, guys. Well, hang in there, and I'll see you Thursday, 2:00.